Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश्वर गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So Dandavat pranams to all of you. Please accept my humble obeisances. We are in this journey of 18 chapter 18 days from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and today we are on chapter 18, which is called Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. So, as we know, the chapter started because Arjuna and Krishna, Lord Krishna, was going to have the conversation based on the situation which has arisen in the Kurukshetra battle, and Arjuna was proclaiming that he is going to renounce everything. So, this entire conversation started with the clear understanding of the term renunciation, karma, what is sacrifice, how should one act in different situations, and what knowledge it should be prevailed with. So, when chapter 18 starts, the name itself is the perfection. In what? In renunciation. What actually can be renounced? That's all we have tried to understand. And how should one act throughout this entire journey? So, before going further, we will quickly look through the summary of the quick revision of the chapter we concluded yesterday, which was chapter 7, which is known as the divisions of faith. So after knowing all three kinds of modes, all kind of nature concepts, and how one should eat, how one should have a sacrifice, in what mode, what kind of austerity is to be done, what kind of penances is to be done, and who is the supreme enjoyer in the end, who should be revered, all these kind of activities. That was our topic for chapter 17. So far, if we look quickly, Krishna has explained almost everything which is to be known. And when I use the word almost is because probably we wouldn't have gone through if there is any concept left out. But Krishna and Arjuna were so intelligent. Like when Lord himself is speaking, Krishna is the Lord. And when Arjuna is understanding, he is at that disciple level where nothing is to be unknown to him. Because Krishna is confirming that after knowing me, nothing else is to be known, because everything originates from me. So if you think and put and act for everything in my perspective, considering me to be the center of all kind of action, thought, and result, then you will never be bewildered. So if we are still bewildered, it means we are yet to go through the revision, the experience, the practical application of this knowledge in our life. So, chapter 18 is more or less, Acharyas have categorized the shlokas as it is the summary of the entire 17th chapter. So, that's how there are, we will also go through in the summary mode. There are 78 shlokas, and we will go through to through slides to see how the classification is. and then we will keep on moving as per the topic. So chapter 18, as I said, is the conclusion, the perfection of renunciation, and the shlokas have been categorized for shloka 1 to 12, which is basically the very quick summary of chapter 1 to 6, freedom from bondage through karma yoga. Shloka 13 to 17 is actually the summary of chapter 13 to 17, the 5 factors of action. Shloka 18 to 40 is more about the expansion of 3 modes, how 3 modes are controlling the all actions, control all actions and living beings. It is not A and N, it is all actions and living beings. Shloka 41 to 48 is about purification through prescribed duties. 49 to 55 is the Brahman platform, confidential knowledge. 56 to 66 is about pure bhakti, acting in the Krishna consciousness. 67 to 78 is actually Krishna will ask Arjuna, Arjuna will reply, and then Sanjay will do the announcement. He will tell what I foresee as the outcome of this conversation is this. This is how Sanjay will speak to Dhritarashtra. But if we look at, there is one thing very particular about this classification. What is not clear in our heart and mind most of the time is when we talk about spirituality, when we talk about religion, when we talk about renunciation, first of all what we think of is to get rid of all kind of karmas. Don't act, don't do anything. That's what is shloka 1 to 6. We must act, we have to act. Even if we don't want, we will need to act. So we need to understand for whom to act, how to act. So that's why it is called bondage from the freedom from bondage through karma yoga. Then putting knowledge in place to know how to act, for whom to act, what is the outcome of that action, and what is it I am going to get in the last, is the overall summary of this chapter, and hence the overall summary of the 17 chapters. So without further delay, we will quickly keep moving. It is a kind of revision for us, so we will also try to put it in that context. The first shloka, only the first 2 shlokas we have tried to put, rest all is the one-liner summary, so that we can really glance throughout for the conversation of 17 hours in our terms, and 700 minus 78 verses, close to some 600 plus verses are there. So 622 verses. So we are trying to go through that summary in the next 55 minutes or so. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam veditum tyagasya cha hishikesha pratakkeshi nishudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyag, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas. O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. So 4-5 important points are there. Arjuna is talking about the sannyas. Arjuna is talking about the term tyag, renunciation. And he's addressing Krishna as the Keshi demon. So Keshi is again the ignorance demon. And who is the killer? Krishna is the killer. And he is also the master of the senses. So we talked about the modes, 3 modes, material modes, all those things. So Hishikesha, master of the senses. So one who is the master of senses can actually kill the demon called ignorance, and can actually enlighten the people who are having the duality in life. This is what we understand from this shloka. What does Krishna reply? Krishna says in shloka 2, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं संन्यासं कवयो विदु सर्वकर्म फलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणा. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation. So if we think about it, there's a difference, right? Just mere detachment, not acting, not doing any karma in the material sense is called as the renunciation. Oh, that person is renounced. married, he doesn't do anything, he just sit at one place, he keeps meditating, and that meditation might really be helpful for that person, but in the end, is it going to be ever sustainable to have the body practically? He needs to do some karma. That's why Krishna is giving the next definition. Sannyas, in the material sense, people think of not doing any action, but Krishna says wise people call tyaga, the sacrifice, the word given is the result, tyaga of all activities. Doing karma but not getting attached to the result is the tyaga. So wise men call it as the tyaga. Amrish Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, they are called the renounced people. Videya, the one who is not at the bodily platform, is the name for Janak Maharaj, because all their actions were dedicated for the welfare of the humanity and for the pleasure of the lordship. So when it is done for the pleasure of the humanity, for the welfare of the humanity, it automatically becomes the pleasure for Lord. When we do not attach ourselves with the result. This is what Krishna is going to continue telling Arjuna. So as a takeaway point for these first few shlokas, we have a very quick takeaway points as a summary. Sannyas means giving up kamya karma and perform nitya karma. Tyag means one performs both but without attachment to the result. So kamya karma and perform nitya karma. Whatever nitya karma is still there, we will still be doing. But in tyaga, we get detached from both the karmas. So that's why, and if we want to understand what is the nitya karma and what is the kamya karma, like putra kameshti yagna. So activities that are done to fulfill some personal desires are called kamya karma, and prescribed duties that leads to the spiritual development is called the deity worship. So the picture we see in the middle is actually a very quick reflection of it. Nitya dharma. Pandavas, after winning the war, lived only till the time they came to know that Krishna is on the earth. The moment Arjuna went to Dwarka and Pandavas came to know that Krishna is with this material expansion, the material manifestation, he has disappeared from this world. He's back to Godhead, right? His original abode. Pandavas didn't have any attachment to the kingdom. They said, we will leave to the Himalayas now. Because Lord, we were the instrument of the Lord's desire, Lord's pastime. Now our job is done. Now Parikshit is there. He will take care of the kingdom, of the people, of dharma, virtues, religiosity. And our dharma now is to move from grihasthashram to varnashram. So they all left it and they started moving to the abode, to the northern part of the India, Himalaya side. It is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam scriptures. They had absolutely no attachment to the kingdom. Oh, we had been the part of the great battle, greatest battle in the history. 18 Akshahini armies were fighting and we came victorious out of that. Nothing like that. Simple, completely virtuous people. They were just following what Krishna commanded to them. And that's why it is very important for us to know that when we talk about the term detachment, when we talk about the term attach, get rid of the attachment, when we talk about it, do it out of duty, do it out of responsibility, do it out of your accountability. That exactly what it means. Then moving further in shloka 7 to 9, as I said, we will quickly be going through the what is the topic covered by Krishna while going through in a revision pattern to Arjuna. So shloka 7 talks about the ignorance. What is the renunciation in mode of ignorance? Giving up prescribed duties because of illusion. If Arjuna wouldn't have fought, right, it would have been the ignorance, simply ignorance, because he is not doing it because of illusion. He's not sure whether he should kill or not kill. So that is the illusion. He was attached with the bodily relationship and was not thinking about the dharma in its original perspective. Then what is renunciation in mode of passion? Gives up duties as troublesome out of fear of bodily comfort. So one of the example I was giving in the session was like the married couple when they decide not to have children because the ladies think that they will have the pain and the fathers think that it may impact their career, their comfort, all kind of luxuries. They will need to give up their time, or when they think like that. So for the bodily pleasure, when they decide not to do the prescribed duty, it is called mode of passion, because Shastras say one should get married when one is ready to continue the growth of this universe, the way Jiva should progress further. Like Brahma, for Brahma it is said, right, he appointed the Prajapatis to extend the living beings, the humans in this material world. So if someone is married and is not willing to have children, just because out of all, there is no physical limitations, there is no disease, there is no inability, there is no disability, nothing like that, just because of our own, that we will go through so much material suffering basically. So that kind of, when you do not do your prescribed duty out of your bodily uncomfortness, then it is called the mode of passion, renunciation in the mode of passion. So you are refusing to renounce because you don't want, you think it as the troublesome. Then goodness, perform duties because it ought to be done, that is no material association or attachment to the fruit. But when we see the rishis doing the Naimisharanya Yajna, we think it is mode of the goodness. So this can be taken as an example, but the mood of the rishis, the sadhus, the saintly people assembled there was in the pure goodness, because they were doing it in Krishna consciousness and employing the fruit of one's work to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. So in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that all the sages at the Naimisharanya forest were doing it for the welfare of humanity, for the welfare of living beings in general, and for the pleasure of the Lordship. So it is like transcending from goodness to pure goodness. Then we move further. Krishna speaks about 5 factors of action. So we had learned all this, that Kshetra, Kshetragya, Gyan, Gyayam, Purusha. We had learned about it, and nature, Prakriti. So Krishna confirms here that 5 factors of actions. What were the 5 factors of Adhishthanam, place of action, Kshetra. What is this material body? Is the Kshetra, Adhishthanam. Karta, performer, the soul who desires to bring about bodily activities. What kind of activities one want to do is being supervised by the soul or being witnessed by the soul. Then Karanam, instruments, the senses, the desires. And then the Cheshta, effort to move the senses, and Devam Supreme is the super soul. So any action is performed with the help of these 5 factors. So one cannot just simply say that I am the doer, I would like to have what I wish to. No, it shouldn't be done this way. If it is done that way, then it is completely not mode of goodness, not mode of transcendence. We will see how that is classified as. But to understand the things clearly, what is being presented here is there are 5 factors of any action. So one is instrument, the other one is our supreme, the other one is endeavor, the other one is performer, and last but not the least, we need the place of action, which is this body. So through this body, the soul desires to bring the bodily activity, the senses do the effort to move, and then super soul sanctions or discard based on our quota. So now in detail, based on these 3 modes, we are going to understand that how this knowledge turned into the action, trying to become as the worker, helping to develop the understanding and putting the determination to find what? To find happiness. So we are going to analyze all of it in the 3 modes. So what is knowledge? Knowledge in terms of ignorance is when one doesn't know, even doesn't know, by which attached to one works as all without knowledge of truth, and is very meager or foolish or completely materialistic. So your knowledge says, oh, the soul resides this body. Soul never destroys, the body ever destroys. So we will do the action through this body to satisfy our senses, and since the body destroys, so there is no next birth quota, there is no renunciation and all these things, there is no reincarnation basically. So that is called the knowledge in ignorance. This is useless, completely useless. Then second one is the passion. In everybody body a different type of entity. So this kind of knowledge, for example, we are able to see the deities, the Lord in the deities in the temple, but to the outside people, oh, he is this she is that they are those people, they are my people, they are someone else's people. So this kind of knowledge is called in the mode of passion. Then the goodness is one undivided nature seen in all entities through they are divided into innumerable forms. So we see that Lord is as the soul residing in everyone's heart. And then the pure goodness is where enables one to see all living beings as eternal, individual, spiritual servants of the Krishna. So, like Srila Prabhupada asked every devotee to call each other Prabhu, Prabhu, Prabhu. Even Matajis were used to be called the Prabhus in the beginning Krishna conscious movement in ISKCON. But then at some point of time, to make it easily understandable, relatable for the common audience, the female bodies started calling each other Matajis, and the male bodies were calling Prabhus. Prabhus means we consider every other one to be the Lord's representative, in the sense that Lord resides in their heart and we are ready to serve them. So Prabhu means to whom we are ready to give our services. So everybody calls every other body the Prabhu, meaning to say that we are practicing to see Krishna's hand, Krishna's presence in every entity. Then the three modes action are described here, shloka 23 to 25. So actions are also done in three modes. What is the ignorance? Action done in ignorance, when it is impelled by the violence, envy, when it harms himself as well as the other one. Like there are some religions in the world, right? They have so much envy that they will become the what is that called, human bomb. They will destroy themselves, this precious body which they don't know when they are going to get it again, and then they take away the lives of others also. So those who want, so when Krishna has to do something somewhere, of course he can do it in any ways, right? Those who are dying due to any reason may die due to any other reason. If their death is destined, it is just that we should be careful what mode is prevailing here, what mode is dominating in our behavior. So this kind of action, when one is occupied with the ignorance, doesn't know about what is the outcome. It may be violence and envy, but they don't bother about it. Then passion is the great effort seeking gratified desires enacted from false ego, desire to enjoy the results. So I am donating this, I am donating that, so that I never have any adversity for these things, or my photo should be published in the newspaper, or I should come on some channels, or any kind of things, any kind of, I should be considered this, that, everybody should feel so great qualities I possess. This is called, so every action will be motivated with that desire. So that kind of actions are called are to be done in the mode of passion. Then again, goodness to pure goodness, when one is regulated, performing without attachment, without love or hatred, all this, then what happens is the goodness comes. But then everything when done for the pleasure of the Lordship becomes the pure goodness. So Krishna is trying to give Arjuna the very one-liner summary, how the worker, the karta, how he is in mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness to the pure goodness. So when someone does just being obstinate, materialistic, lazy, morose, it is called ignorance. When one is attached to the work, its fruit, and blinded by the personal desire. So passion is all about your passion. The word passion itself kind of reflect the overall mood of this mode. Mood of this mode. What is the mood? Mood is for personal satisfaction, personal desire, by trying to harm others least. However, the ignorant people, they will do all that. And then the goodness is without false ego, without association of the modes, not wavering in success or failure, trying to be they're trying to acquire the steadiness in our character. That is goodness. But then when it reaches to the point of unconditional serving to Krishna, it becomes the pure goodness. So after that we have understanding. So understanding is also developed, actually it is said in the scriptures, is based on three modes. Considers a religion, vice versa, illusion plus darkness, strives in wrong direction, all this is called ignorance. Cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, actions to be done or not. So many a times people are so focused on the results that they do not mind what path it is being acquired. So like just to get some some listeners, if somebody is trying to impress the people and say something opposite to the Shastras, that comes into the mode of passion. You are not abiding by what acharyas have said. You are just trying to impress the people. You are not trying to enlighten them. So that kind of understanding is actually acquired by someone in the mode of passion. And then we come to know about the goodness, which is know what ought to be done or not, feared and not, blinding and liberating. So the right thing to do, what is the right thing to do, is what defines the understanding of the people in mode of goodness. Then pure goodness, again, it is the dovetail to always perfectly considers Krishna through personal realization confirmed by the scriptures and the sun. So just to share with all of you, this will continue like that. We have the determination also in mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Ignorance is cannot determine. I mean, even the exam has come, they don't have the determination to succeed into it. They said, if I haven't read throughout the year, what is the point if I read it now? So they are so foolish that they do not know what is their immediate benefit as at last, and they cannot put even that much determination. So that is called the determination in ignorance. Then passion is hold fruitive results in religion, and never ever trying to follow the things just with the detached mood. So I am doing it, I want to have the result of it. So that person will try to hold it very tightly. But when the person is in the goodness, let me share this line. When the person is in the goodness, his determination is also unbreakable, sustained with yoga. Practice controls the mind, life and senses. So this control takes place in those kind of people where the determination is in the mode of goodness. And then pure goodness boils down to the point of fully engagement in Krishna consciousness. Happiness is also of three types: ignorance, passion, goodness, and pure goodness is the ultimate one. We know happiness and ignorance means if we are very, very happy when someone's bad happens, right? So that is a complete ignorance. Passion is when someone is based on the sense gratification. If I got what I wanted to have in my life, if I have that, then that kind of happiness may short for a short while it may exist. But if I do not have what I wanted and then I show the flickering behavior, that is called mode of passion for the happiness. But the goodness is very sweet. Goodness is beginning like poison and like nectar and awakens one to the self realization. So it asks for do something different in this lifetime. Do not just get clutched by the maya again. So this is what Shastras are trying to tell us. Then pure goodness is of course transcendental. Devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead invokes the pure goodness. Now all these goodness, all these qualities we talked about, happiness, we talked about the knowledge, we talked about the understanding in these three modes. But then we are not just working in the mode, right? We are working in some kind of ashram. I might be a student, I might be a graduate, I might be just the knowledge seeker in the beginning of my youth, and then I might be doing some other jobs as well. So all these kind of things are performed in certain kind of ashrama. So Krishna is telling that we remember chapter 4, shloka 13, Krishna has said that I have created these four varnas, and then these four varnas qualities were described. The one called as Brahma, researcher, scientist, teachers are basically they are peaceful, self-controlled, austere, tolerant, honest, wise, and religious. Kshatriyas, they are determined to be generous, resourceful. So resourceful is a very useful word for Kshatriyas, those who carry that kind of mood. And then they are very courageous as well. Vaishya is naturally tending towards business, farming, and cow protection. So being in the division of Varna, also people get, we can say, captivated by the three modes. And then Krishna tells in 45 to 48 that after knowing all this, meaning after getting to know the Gyan, the knowledge part, of the modes and all. One should act in such a way, in such a karma mode, that one should be able to attain the purified states. Krishna says, Nirmal Manjan Somai Pava. We need to purify ourselves. That's what will be described in 45 to 48. One should be thinking, oh, the Lord has engaged me in this particular occupation, and then he executes it without any kind of attachment, with the sense of duty and responsibility. Then it is called that purification through karma yoga. Therefore, one should use the fruit of this work for the happiness, satisfaction, and worship to whom? To Lord Krishna. Shloka 51 to 53 in chapter 18 talks about the process of Jnana Yoga. So if we remember the process of Jnana Yoga, which was in chapter 6, controlling the mind with determination, purified by intelligence, giving up sense objects, freedom from attachment and hatred. So all these are the prescriptions, right? Do this, but when you go to the doctor shop, right? Eat these medicines, but also don't do these things. So if you have fever because of the wet, please do not try to get wet again. This is as simple as that. So here Gyan Yoga is having these 8-9 steps, always in trance, detached. One achieves a supreme freedom from all bad qualities born of material conception, is called process of all these other steps of the process of Gyan Yoga. But Krishna tells what you are supposed to obtain by the Gyan Yoga, Brahma Bhuta stage. You need to know about the Krishna that devotees are doing through their Bhakti Yoga, and you are trying to do with the Gyan Yoga. The outcome is the same. What is the outcome? There is this shloka 18.55. This is very beautiful shloka. It says only by bhakti. The perfection is only by bhakti. Bhaktya mamavi janati yavanyaschashmi tattvata tato ma tattvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. And then Krishna is saying no one can understand God simply by erudite scholarships or mental speculation. Only one who is actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. University degrees are not helpful. So we had talked about it yesterday also. We were saying this is the only place where university degree doesn't qualify to give us what we want for our further progress. University degree gives us caliber. It is the outcome of the caliber. However, the spiritual knowledge is the outcome of our character. So there is a difference of character and caliber. Krishna reveals all this knowledge to someone who has the strong character, who has those qualities which Krishna is speaking here. So what is that quality? In Shloka 57 to onwards, Krishna is saying, I personally protect my devotee from all reactions and lead him directly to my supreme abode. And Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport, one should follow the order of the Lord, which means through the direction of Krishna's representative Guru and through the words of Krishna, meaning Shastra. That's why Shloka 58 to 60 is making inner choice to serve Krishna or turn away from Krishna. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Arjun's main dilemma is whether to fight or not. But here Krishna explains that Arjuna will fight anyway. There is no option for him not to fight. He had to fight. Why? Because whatever choice, making inner choice, whatever choice Arjuna is trying to make, that is not going to give him the inner peace. He will still like to serve Krishna or turn away from Krishna. He will pass all obstacles. His duty is to fight, and even if he tried to abandon, the modes will force him to do it. And then in Shloka 60, Krishna says, if you do not follow my orders, you will follow orders of loving nature like puppet. So if you remember, we were just talking about it, right? We have to do the karma, just that we need to follow the orders of Lord. Otherwise, we will be following the order of lower nature like the puppet. Then Krishna keeps moving, and if you all think it is very fast, you can let me know. But the idea here is there is no point in repeating everything unless I come to remember that there is something I haven't discussed. Then we can always discuss here. So Shloka 60 onwards, Krishna is saying, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutami yantrarudhani mayaya So what Krishna is saying? Krishna is saying in Shloka 61, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. Hiddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. He is sitting, residing in everyone's heart. Why? Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. Every living entities. And Yantra Rudhani Maya, like as an instrument, Maya Devi, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. For us, this is Shloka 61 to 63, not only 63, actually until 65. It's very much about how we are going after knowing all kind of actions and everything. How, if Arjuna thinks, it is more for Arjuna and through Arjuna for all of us, is how after attaining the devotion, what will happen after attaining the devotion. So that's what Krishna is explaining here. What will happen after after getting the devotion? You will become surrendered to me. Krishna is saying you will become surrendered to me. In Shloka 61, Krishna is telling what if you want to act independently, you will not be able to do it. Why you will not be able to do it? Because I am the director. I just missed the slide. Just one second. I'll bring the slide back. Yeah. He's saying, I am the director. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. I am the director. Do as you wish. I do allow you under your free will power. Krishna is saying in Shloka 63. इति ते ज्ञानमाख्यातं गुह्यत गुह्यतरं मया विमृश्येत अशेषेण यथेक्षसि तथा कुरु यथेक्षसि तथा कुरु. Krishna is saying whatever was supposed to be known, I have told you everything. Now it depends on you. After meditating upon these points, do whatever you want. Use your free will. Don't ask me to decide for you. You decide yourself because you accepted me as the Guru. So it is my duty to give you the right appropriate guidance. But then you are also an individual soul, right? So use your free will to determine. And then how does free will works is Krishna telling in Shloka 63 and 64. Krishna is not a religious fanatic person. Oh, this is a very important point. If we see what is happening in the world nowadays, it's complete chaos. One particular religion may think we are the supreme. We cannot let any other one to think the way they want to think, the way they want to live, the way they want to speak, the way they want to act. Krishna said, I am not the religious fanatic person. I don't mind as long as one is doing the good karma, seeing the Lord's hand in every living entity, not trying to do anything not described in the Shastras. Krishna says, I am not fanatic to them. Because this free will is a very important concept in Shloka 63. It reveals the knowledge, invite the living entity to think about it, allowing them to make their own decision. And then Krishna will reveal the supreme instructions. This is coming right from these shlokas. What is that supreme instruction? If we see the Shloka 65, it says essence of Bhagavad Gita. What is Shloka 65? Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijano priyo hasi me. Always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me and suffer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. What can be a bigger assurance when Lord is inviting himself to be called in his abode and he says, just do this. What you are supposed to do is offer your homage unto me, worship me. You will definitely come to me in the end. So the shloka 56, 55, 56, all these shloka are very important because they are giving us that glimpse of how one should act. We move further. The shloka final essential teaching is in shloka 86 and 85. One must surrender. One must understand this teaching. And how to surrender is Krishna clarifies here. One must be austere. One must be devoted. One must be engaged in disciplic succession, deity service, devotional service, non-envious. one shouldn't be envious to any other one. Then what will happen is, result of such kind of preaching, Krishna speaks in shloka 68 and 69. On the left side we can see Srila Prabhupada standing in between the foreign disciples, foreign body disciples basically. And what does it signify? That Krishna's, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is for one and all. Only thing is, we need to assimilate it properly, and in the guidance of acharyas try to circulate it appropriately. So result of this kind of preaching is, Krishna says, is the effect is that one worships Krishna with his intelligence. That is the speaker's quality. And one becomes free from sinful reaction and spiritual advances is the listener's quality. This is the effect, which is the outcome when preaching is and teaching is done in this way. Shloka 18.73 confirms to Arjuna that Arjuna confirms to Krishna that I am free from any doubt. Who is saying that? Arjuna, the who started this entire conversation. I am so confused. I am perplexed. I have duality. I don't know what is to be done, what is not to be done. So he's saying here, Nashta moho smritir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta sthito asmi gat sandeha karishyetam vachanam tava. My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. So this is how is the when the disciple is like Arjuna, then the Lord walks in as a guru, as a spiritual master to enlighten us. And when Arjuna paid attention and heard all of it, what is he saying? I am free from doubt. We started this Bhagavad Gita to get ourselves free from any kind of doubt, and we took this as to our heart because Arjuna is representing all of us. So he's saying, I am free. Nashta moho smritir labdha. My doubt is vanquished. It's no more. Smritir labdha, I got labdha, prapt, obtained. Smritir, my memory. I have regained my memory. So it was there, but it was in the dormant stage, like we say, right? Some of the qualities are in dormant stage. Only when the right spark touches us, that manifest. So this is how, what is the fruit of entire Bhagavad Gita from this shloka? Acharya says, Nashta moha, my illusion is dispelled. Smritir labdha, I have regained my memory. Sthitosmi gata sandeha, I am now firm and free from doubt. And the fourth one is Karishye vachanam tava, I am prepared to act according to your instructions. But in Bhagavad Gita, for the remaining three shlokas, we will see, we don't see any instruction by the Lord. Lord just says, you decide now, I have told you everything. And here we are, the announcement done by Sanjaya. So Sanjaya has spoken 2-3 verses, but the last shlok has been said by the Sanjaya is here. Sanjay has spoken 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. He is glorifying the Lord. And in the end, he is saying, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So who is giving this opinion? Sanjay, who is the divine disciple of Vyasadeva. And he's saying, when one is ready to be as surrendered as like Arjuna, when one is so honest in his dealing, when one is so great and we can say the embodiment, the landmark of any kind of devotion practice one should do. Arjuna is all that. Then what happens is, then Lord appears in our life, in our heart, in our mind as the spiritual master. So we should practice to become like Arjuna. Krishna will definitely walks in, because this is how the Kurukshetra battle being fought every day by us will be concluded. We will be victorious only when we follow these kind of teachings. So acharyas have given one last final comment on this entire learning is, the Bhagavad Gita is not like an ordinary book by some mundane author. It is the Lord's own potency to knowledge by which he enlightens the fallen souls. One who studies the Gita therefore experiences direct association with Lord Krishna. One who hears properly becomes Krishna conscious. He can see Krishna in all things, therefore his life becomes exciting and wondrous at every step. So let's have Bhagavad Gita in our life is what Acharya is trying to tell us. And by having that, there is nothing which cannot be obtained. We just need to have the full faith, surrender, and execute in the kind guidance of scriptures, gurus and acharyas, and our senior devotees in the association of bhaktas. We should try to practice it. So with that, we are actually finishing this chapter 18. Very quick summary it has been. Please go through Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, book written by Srila Prabhupada. He also has not written much purpose here. The shloka, the translation, then 2-3 introductory lines wherever it is needed to be. Reason being, this is what Krishna has spoken throughout the 17 chapters. So this is how the chapter 18 finished, and hence the journey of this 18 days, 18 chapter is also concluded today. There are a couple of announcements which you will receive in the chat groups comment box. If you are not yet with us in any of the media platform to say for where the communication can be set up, please join. The link is given in the description of this video itself. And the latest announcement, which most of you are aware because we have circulated it across, is the Bhagavad Gita quiz contest, which has kind of already started. Registration form is in the progress. You will, in the registration form, you will be given 10 questions. That kind of format is there. All that message has been circulated. Once you answer those, you are considered to be the registered. The first round is happening on 1st of November. The next round is happening on 14th of November. So in 2 rounds, you are qualified enough, and the winners are getting the cash as the first, second, third prize. So all these details are there. 1 or 2 of you were asking that why the cash is. So again, we are doing the karma here with the feeling of detachment. We are not giving you cash for reading the book. We are giving you the cash to understand it. And then if you would have understand it, we are sure you will be using it for the welfare of humanity, welfare of yourself, and to please the Lordship in every possible way, because that will signify that you have kind of put your effort to understand the scriptures. So other than that, if there is anything, please feel free to reach out to me with WhatsApp, personal chats, or Telegram, or comment in this video box itself. We will end the session here. So far, thank you so much for being a wonderful audience and giving me all the suggestions. The entire session, I will honestly say, has been for my own purification. It is good to revise these concepts because it helps us to remember it at appropriate time when we are in our day-to-day activity, surrender to Krishna while executing it, and we attain that detached stage. Only then we will be able to transcend this material world, and probably by Lord's supreme mercy, by mercy of gurus and acharyas and the senior disciples, we will have the very high chance to reach to the supreme abode. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki